Good afternoon for the third CreativeNL Live afternoon. This time China is in the picture. After we have seen our priority country Germany and the US, now it's the turn for China. My name is Monique Knapen and I'm the coordinator for China. This afternoon we will have two sections in the program. The first one is all about the theme of circular economy, circular design, regenerative design. There's a lot of words. We think that is really key as the theme for this year and actually also next year in China. We will talk about this with some very nice experts today. But I will give the floor to Michael Hulshoff, who is an old friend. He lived in China when I was living there, and I'm really happy that he will moderate the first part, and I will be back after the panel. Thank you very much. A warm welcome for Michael Hulshoff.
Yeah. Thank you, Monique. Let's get started, right, with these interesting speakers. I announce them to you, and I would really like it if you welcome them with your applause. First, we have the Public Secretary of the top team, Creative Industry, Marijke Reuver. Then we have the Director of Circo, Pieter van Os. And finally, we have the co-owner of Orange Creators, Mariet Scheurs. So let's introduce you to the audience a little bit. Marijke Reuver, can you explain to the people here who do not know it, what is the top team creative industry?
Yes, it's a good question, and I can elaborate on that for hours, but I...
Don't do that.
No, I'll keep it short. In the Netherlands, we have about 10 top sectors. We have more sectors, but these are set that were really good. We were good at it, and we wanted to stay good at it, and one of them is the creative industries. And then that is itself a collaboration between government, industry and knowledge, and they try together to stimulate innovation. So that into 3 words.
Yeah, and what are you, because in the past years you've been busy with COVID, I suppose,
yes,
as a top team, because that was a huge challenge, especially for the creative industry. But what are you currently working on?
At the moment, we are actually reviving our strategy, and we're focused on 4 major themes. The top sector policy as a whole is now more into to the Sustainable Development Goals. So we wanted to help with innovation to solve these problems. And for the creative industries, it's, well, we can, I'm not a creative professional, but the creative professionals can work on any fields, on help on all sorts of projects and stuff. But we focus on immersive tech, circular design, so where we're talking about today. Now I have to remember them. Yeah. Social design.
Yeah, okay.
So that's to innovate the innovation, and also on urban planning and urban environment.
Okay, so circular design is one of the 4 topics that you focus on as a top sector. Yeah. Okay, we'll talk on, but first, Pieter van Os, Director of Circo. Actually, the same question. What is Circo?
Thank you. Circo is a circular design program, and we facilitate companies and designers who start their circular journey. And there are many companies, mainly SME companies, who think, okay, I'm intrigued or motivated to start circular way of working, but where to start if you are an SME company? And so we have a design program, 3 days with 10 companies, and we facilitate them bringing in knowledge. They apply that to their company, and in the end they have a circular proposition. So that's a product-service combination they can offer to their customers with a business model, a redesign of the product, and also the services that come with it, and a roadmap for implementation. So what activities do they need to perform to come from the current linear way of working to their desired circular way of working?
help them do this kickstart, you train them. That is your function, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and you did that for over 500 companies, I read on your website. Is that correct?
No, it's not correct. It's correct, but now it's more than 2,000 companies.
Okay, so outdated website. 2,000 companies.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And is it? It's not only in the Netherlands, right?
No, we started in the Netherlands, and so the Netherlands is a guiding country in circular economy, and we are also financed by the Ministry of ENW, and they want to export this design knowledge, and so we have hubs in 14 countries outside the Netherlands.
Yes. Okay, we'll talk later. Mariet Scheurs, you're co-owner of Orange Creatives. You won this year's Red Dot Award in the category Sustainability.
Yes.
And I read on your website that you use your perfect row of teeth to tear design problems into small bits that are easier to digest.
Yeah,
so give an example. What does Orange Creatives do?
Yeah, Orange Creatives is it's a design studio in Guangzhou. We also have a design studio in Rotterdam. Our name is A4M Group. And together we realize product ideas. So we do the design, but also the supply chain.
Yeah, and just because traveling has become an issue in the past years, where are you based at the moment?
I'm based in Rotterdam.
In Rotterdam, okay.
Yes.
But before in Guangzhou, or?
Yes, I've lived in China for 10 years, in Guangzhou and in Shanghai. And my team is still in Guangzou.
Yes, and is that difficult now, or?
Yes, I would love to visit the team, but luckily we already set up our digital system of communication before COVID, so we are running relatively smooth.
Yeah. So the contacts are, well, the business is going on, but it's difficult in a way because you want to.
Yeah, we would like to have the personal connection and have lunch together and exchange ideas on the dinner table, but that will have to wait. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about China and Europe and circular design. Marijke Reuven, why China for the top sector creative industry?
Why not actually? That's
why not?
Why not? Yeah, because we've made an analysis for a few times, and then China is always one of the countries that is, one of the countries that are of interest for the creative professionals. Yeah. So we think we should be there as well, and then we don't look only at where the market is going to, but also where other policy areas are working on. So we have the cultural policy in the Netherlands that has China as priority country as well, and together with also the economic policy. China is a big market, so yeah.
Yeah, so to give us a feeling, what are other focus countries?
Now, as Monique said, we have Germany and the United States as focus countries, and that are the countries of which we really are which we are really proactive. As the Dutch government has embassies all over the world, and people are working on creative industries. So we support that as well, but for these three countries we try to be proactive and work with a programmatic way to collaborate more and more, and then especially on the knowledge.
And now we're talking about on knowledge, on circular design. Is that, if you look at China, is that is that a good topic? Is that a connecting topic? Is that well chosen if you look at China and creative industry?
Yeah, I think China is so big and so many things happening there. But as I was here in the previous session, and there was so much energy. So I think that is evidence that it is really a theme that is working for both countries. And what I really found interesting is that the scale of China is something we really can learn from, like the amount of stuff that was happening there. And of course, it's a bigger country, and they have more a different route to finance. But we tend to stay small and we want to be innovative every time and every time. So we need to really think of what we have and to scale up. So that is what something we can learn from China.
So the scale of China, even also in circular design, is very interesting to make a connection with. Piet van Os, is that also the reason that Circle wants to go to China? Because you're not yet in China, right?
No, I think it's more pragmatic. So we are an impact-driven organization, and we want to use design to drive the circular transition. And China is the factory of the world. So if you want the world to become circular, then you need
to go to the factory. Yeah,
exactly. And you can try to redesign products here in the Netherlands or in Europe and then specify that for China. But I think it's also good to do capacity building in China, and many products are also designed there. So it's a more pragmatic reason to focus also on China.
Yeah, and you have a lot of experience, right? You have experience in these 12 countries. Can you share something of how does that go? I mean, what are the experiences in using this circle methodology abroad?
Yeah, well, up to now, I'm surprised every time that the methodology is working in every country. So it's a very Dutch country, a lot of direct contact between companies. And so the first time you go to a country, well, you're anxious, is this going to work? But up to now it is.
Yeah, give an example of something that you think is so what especially makes it so Dutch?
Well, there is a lot of interaction. So you work on a certain topic and you share it with the group, and then the group is giving immediate response to what you have been working on. And well, even in Belgium, they look at you, okay, what are those Dutch doing now? Yeah. So certainly when you do it in Indonesia, well, how is that going to work? And so I was very surprised and pleased when the first Indonesian person said to me, no, I don't agree. I thought, okay, that's not what I was expecting in Indonesia. They really... So... but we train trainers in other countries. So
and do you know what is your key to? Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm intrigued that you say I didn't expect it to work, but it works. So what is the secret recipe then?
Well, it's a very concrete program. So we don't talk too much, but companies immediately start working on their own business case. They get a lot of knowledge and they immediately apply it. So I think that works. Yeah. The other thing, and that is what we have to find out, I think the people that join in the first place are the people with a really global vision. So I think cultural things are less important for them. So maybe if we come to the next cohorts of companies, maybe we will face more resistance. But up till now, they're open, they're willing to change, and then with this concrete methodology, they can make the steps they want to make.
Yeah, so you go to China with confidence?
No, that's another thing. So we've not been in China yet. We did some online workshops, and they were very positive. There are two things I don't know. So the first thing is the economic model in China. So our credo is creating business by circular design. And is that also valid in China? I don't know. We have to experience that. The other thing is in China there is a lot of emphasis on circularity, but it's more on waste management and reuse of materials. And our aim is to really look at the usage phase, the end of use phase, and going to higher R strategies. And I don't know if the framework that is currently used by policymakers is in line with what we want to achieve. So that's all we have to find out.
Yeah, okay. So let's go to your neighbor, Marit. You know, because you have experience in China, right? Why did you decide to start in China? What was the reason?
Oh, that is a long time ago. I went to China to do to two things. One is I wanted to do my graduation project there because I did Delft Technical University. You learn a lot about stuff, how it's made, and we also learned at that time a lot is made in China, so I wanted to see. And the second one is I was working on our own product.
What was it?
It was a multimedia game for people with dementia. And China was an option to produce it. So that's how I ended up there.
Yeah, okay, actually same as we heard. So Piet van Os says, well, you have to go to the factory. That was also your idea. So how China and circular design, how does that connect?
I think there's a lot going on that topic as well. So last month there was a Sustainable Design Summit in Beijing, and they had a very interesting program that is similar to circular events in Holland. So I believe that the drive is there. I do think, just like in Holland, that designers have a very important role to bring circular design or circular economy on the table.
Yeah.
When you get a brief of a company, we want something new, we need something new for our sales channels or whatever they ask. The designer can bring up the topic of circular design. They can counter the brief and say, let's tackle this problem not from aesthetic reason, but from CO2 impact or yeah.
So now your neighbor had two potential obstacles, two things that he wasn't sure about. So I can ask them to you. First is that the Circle model is really focused on creating a new creative business, right? Mm-hmm. And the second is that the feeling is that maybe in China the focus is more on reuse of waste material and not yet the whole circle. Yeah. Is that something you recognize?
Well, I haven't been in China for 2.5 years, so I will.
And a lot can change in 2.5 years.
Give my guess.
Yes.
I guess it's quite similar as in Holland. In Holland, also, the first thing people think about if you talk about circular design is recycling, but that's the last step. You want to keep a product up on the value hill. So how can we use a product longer? How can we repair it? How can we keep it attractive over a longer time? That is the most important part that needs to happen. But so far there's less examples of that happening. So.
Yeah. Okay. So and what is your feeling? Would a circular design workshop work there?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the positive. Now we're still on the page. And now my question is, of course, do you see any potential obstacles in cooperation? Let's start with Marijke Reuven.
Potential obstacles, I think, as in every cooperation, you have to speak each other's language. So, and as we are quite far apart, different cultural backgrounds, we really need to take time for that. And as Dutch, we don't want to take that sometimes. We're a bit bold sometimes. Well, it works for Circo on several occasions, we've learned just yet. But even in Holland, in the Netherlands, we have to speak each other's language. I came from a different background. I had to learn how designers, how creative professionals speak. And now I'm trying to advocate that within the government. And even that needs time. So I think that's we need to understand that we have to be patient on cooperation in China.
Yeah, and now I don't want to start a political discussion, right? But but in the last panel, there was somebody who said, okay, so apart from big politics and there's political differences, there's also a change in how China is perceived in Europe. That can be a potential obstacle. I see you not, Marit.
Yeah, definitely. I think if I explain my business, there's a lot of people will say, but let's not buy anything from China. And the same in China. When we started, international designers were very in demand. Yeah. And now it's more, a lot of companies prefer local designers.
Yeah.
And I think it's fine.
So it's both. So
it's not a matter of let's do it like this or like this. Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you say then to people?
I say you have a right not to buy stuff from China, but,
okay. Yeah.
But a lot is made there. So I think the trade, the volume of trade is so big that, I'm trying to make an impact there, and other people can do it on a local scale or just on minimalism. And Mario Kondo not buy anything. Yeah. But the way I think I can make impact most is my China experience. So.
Yes. Okay. Very clear. Pieter van Os, how do you? Yeah. Oh yeah. You can. Yeah. How do you look at this? I mean, do you notice that difference? I mean, also in you when you tell your friends or other people?
I try not to make it relevant. Because the main thing that we want to achieve is that we have a planet in, well, about 80 years still for us and resources, and that we use them carefully. And so I think we should not talk too much about politics, but look how we can work in a circular way and, well, saving the planet and being more friendly in how we work with people. So I think we should put that above the other discussion.
Exactly. You say eyes on the ball, and then we all want circular design. So that is a common ground, and that's the way I want to work.
Exactly.
Yeah. Marijke, how is that? I mean, if you're working in the top sector, then there's also, of course, maybe contact between civil servants of countries, right? Is that the same? That circular design is a sort of a common theme that makes it easier to bridge differences?
Yeah, well, in the top sector policy, we try to really collaborate in that triple helix way. But as in the Netherlands, we have the cultural policy, and that is more of building bridges and stay on the not political ground and not all the stuff that is in the newspapers. And we try to have an open line to China. So in those fields we can work together.
Yeah.
But referring to the other session again, the conclusion was we're human beings and we need to foster our world for our children and our grandchildren, and that is what we share, or I hope we share.
Yeah, and that goes over any country or political differences, right? So are there any, that's my final question to you, and then I want to ask the room if they have something to say. There's a special microphone here that if you walk there, the light is going to shine on it. It's very beautiful. A final question. Are there opportunities that you have a feeling that we should not miss looking to circular design in China?
Yeah, there's opportunity to create bigger impact if you look at the ideas, the circular ideas that Holland has, and then the amount, if you would translate them to the Chinese market or in the Chinese context, of course the impact will be much bigger than only doing that in Holland.
Simply, the scaling up, right?
Yes.
Other opportunities?
Yeah, we can learn a lot. So we think in the Netherlands that we're very far ahead, and to some extent we are, but in all the countries where we work, we also learn a lot about how people locally apply, how design is working. So I think that's the biggest opportunity.
Yeah,
so
can you give an example that you think of other countries that?
Yeah, certainly. So we have a hub in Sri Lanka, and people treat materials in a totally different way because they're very valuable and labor is very cheap. So you see a totally different setup in the economy and the way people treat value.
Yeah.
That's a very easy one, but there are many learnings.
Yeah, so the scale of China can bring us something. We can learn a lot. More opportunities we shouldn't miss.
I think we were talking about the circle, and reuse is the first one, and recycle is the last one. I think that is something that we need to bring, and there's a challenge as well. If you want to bring something, you have to give something, and I hope we can be more in an abstract way, have the conversation and help them not to only recycle. Yeah. So that is, it's not really an answer to your question, but it's something I really look forward to give more energy on that part, on the philosophical and academic character of the discussion.
Yeah, we are living in strange times, right? We just before we had Daniel Zhang, architect from China, and you could feel his frustration through the screen, calling in, and his frustration with not being able to travel internationally to work as he is used to. How do you look at that? Is that something, because we talk about cooperation, and then real physical contact is important. I have the feeling. How do you look at that in the coming year?
Well, it's two things. I think we learned a lot about the digital way of working, and that it is working, that you can meet people and get to know them on the screen, and that you're surprised when you see them in real life and think, oh, you're really tall. Or, but on the other hand, we need to be inspired in another way that we don't know. We don't know all the questions we want to ask. We have to be surprised and inspired, and that only can happen when you're going somewhere else. And so we need to have physical contact and be somewhere else. But that's my opinion. I really like to be surprised and experience more than only on the little TV screen or on your laptop.
Piet van Os, when do you expect to have your first physical workshop in China, training?
I hope in the second quarter of next year. But we have digitized all our material and the whole methodology, and we can achieve much more than I expected before COVID, so that's the good news. And on the other hand, yes, it's about persons, and you cannot really connect with persons only by the screen. So I think it's good that we have a hybrid model right now, so we should take the best out of the two options.
Yeah. Mariet Rus, any idea? Did you book
my
any
team
tickets
is
yet?
ready to do it. They want, my Chinese staff also really wants to go ahead with it.
But you didn't book any tickets to go to Guangzhou?
I didn't book no,
not
because
yet.
I have a team who can do it there.
Yeah.
So we can do it tomorrow if you want.
Okay. Good. Let's look at the room. There might be questions or remarks that people want to make. This is your chance. No? It's all very clear.
Yeah,
You've explained everything. Yeah? No questions? So then, can I thank you very much and give them a warm applause. Marijke Reuven, Pieter van Os en Mariet Scheurs. And I'll give the floor back to Monique Knapen.
Yeah. Well, thank you all panelists, and thank you Michiel for having a nice, I think, conversation about from different angles looking at China and the topic. For me, I'm also very excited to be here. It's, of course, like Michiel said, we had a session before, China Calling, which is more inspirational. This part of CreativeNL live, and I have to also look at our viewers, is new for me, is that we try to inspire makers, designers, companies, to maybe do a project in China or a project together with China. I am very pleased that since this year we have made a transformation ourselves from Creative Holland to CreativeNL, and that also made a little bit of a different focus. We're not only looking at business development, economic growth or economic cooperations, but also looking at the innovation itself. So how can we make the creative industries innovate, and how can we do that also internationally? So my job is then to look for Chinese partners. And the good news also is that this year we were also able to start with doing some events, meaning also having some budget to do that. And there is a lot of demand coming from China actually for Dutch design, Dutch innovations, Dutch possibilities. But as a lot of people have said already, that it's difficult to meet. And it's also for me 3 years ago that I went to China. So what is really going on? It's difficult to really grasp everything. There's a lot of news, of course, a lot of negative news, lots of things going on in the world, but I think we can all conclude that if we continue to a new system, if you can use that word, but a way of producing, a new way of working in the new economy after COVID, maybe we should try and innovate even more. So together with some experts in the CreativeNL team, we have chosen for the theme of circularity or circular design, regenerative design, because I think that is something that really binds the Netherlands and China. As far as I know, China is really looking for these new developments as well, because they also want to foster and develop in that kind of area to really make the planet better, not only for the Chinese people, but also in a bigger perspective. So given that fact that we are looking for that theme, I come to the first video actually, because in 2019, so just before COVID, the Netherlands was already asked to become again a partner in the Business of Design Week in Hong Kong. We were a partner already in 2008, and that was a long time ago. I think it was really a period that everybody thought, wow, you know, the walls have gone down. Now it's time to really unite the world, and we're all going to go to China. And there was a big delegation, and we did a lot of things. But now, of course, the world is a little bit different. And in 2019, the Netherlands was asked again to be a partner country. It took a little while before we could really decide to go ahead with it. But now we have decided that in 2023, the Netherlands will be the country that is partnering up with Hong Kong. But we want to do it in a bit of a different way, in a way that we not only want to bring speakers and to, you know, inspire and be, of course, a nice partner country as a, you know, bringing a lot of people over, but we really try to do this in a sustainable way. But let me first show you the video that I asked Business of Design Week to make. It's very short, but there will be something else coming after that. So hopefully we can see that video. Very short video. It's so I first wanted to tell you that this year we are a strategic partner. This year it's a little bit different because also for the Business of Design Week I think they would love to have the Netherlands, but of course for this year it was a little bit too quick. Also we cannot travel yet. So, but I was still proud that I can give you some names. Piet Hein Eek, Eric Chen, Richard Hutte, Martijn Pol, Marcel Schreuder, Koen Oldhuis, Daan van Eyck, Bart Aschman, Nicky Gonnissen, Niels de Jong, Saskia Visser, Geoffrey Lonker, Mirjam van der Lubbe. They all participated already in the Business of Design Week, everything online. Because, you know, China is always quick. They want to have names, they want to be quick. So I asked the Business of Design Week to make a video to tell me why the Netherlands. And then I got this. So I said to them again, I want to do something a little bit more substantial. So I asked Joseph Wong, who is the director of the Hong Kong Design Center and director of the Business of Design Week. I actually asked him to come here today at the Dutch Design Week, but he unfortunately couldn't make it. So he has a message for us. A little bit deeper.
Congratulations to another very successful edition of Dutch Design Week in 2022. I'm Joseph Wong, Executive Director of Hong Kong Design Center. As the organizer of Asia's premier annual event on design, innovation and brands, Business of Design Week, BODW, we are honored to have the Netherlands as our strategic partner this year in BODW 2022 and becoming our partner country for BODW 2023. This year is Hong Kong Design Center's 20th anniversary, and it's wonderful to have the Netherlands join us in our celebration activities, starting with Knowledge of Design Week, KODW, which just concluded last Saturday. We had timed the closing of KODW with the opening of Dutch Design Week to signify the continuous stream of activities in our long-term partnership. BODW 2022, which kicks off in Hong Kong on 30th of November, is themed Design for Change. We cherish our partnership with the Netherlands for this event because we both share the pursuits of design as a force that can bring positive changes to society and people's lives. At KODW, BODW, and beyond, we are especially eager to learn from Dutch designers' expertise in circular design, and not only circular design from a designer's perspective, but how it could be applied in broader industries and sectors. Besides, circular design also adds remarkable insights to Hong Kong Design Center's 20th anniversary theme, Design for Sustainable Community. In next year's events, we will share design trends, knowledge and culture, engage in dialogues and exchanges, and ultimately celebrate the success and excellence of Dutch design with our international audience, in particular with the audience in mainland China and the rest of Asia. With regard to promoting design in the creative industries, Hong Kong now plays a significant role of East meets West Center for International Cultural Exchange for our motherland, mainland China. Hong Kong Design Center is proud to kick off our important mission in this respect with our longtime close partner, the Netherlands. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to extend a sincere invitation to you to come to Hong Kong for BODW 2023 next December. We look forward to exchanging great design ideas and insights and to explore new ways to bring meaningful changes to our community and its people through design that is designed for change together. I promise you will have a great time getting to know the culture of Hong Kong and its surrounding regions. See you next year in Hong Kong.
Wow. That was Joe Wong. So when I talked to him first, he was so enthusiastic about the Netherlands. He said, you are doing such great things, and I don't care if you're going to be strategic partner, partner country. I want to work anyway with the Netherlands. So I was also intrigued by his enthusiasm, and I think together with our steering committee, and some people are here today, Daan van Eyck, Bart Aschman, Pieter van Os is also hopefully part of the whole team, to really bring something substantial, something that goes beyond big names or stars or, you know, successful companies. We really try to bring, I think, what he also mentioned, like really the sustainable developments that is made by designers. So good news is that we will go to Hong Kong next month. So I'm very excited to see what kind of really long-term experiments or long-term relationships we could really start, and that can be in knowledge institutions, in business, in governmental relations, hopefully also beyond the border of Hong Kong. We have already had a kickoff on the 14th of September. Some of you here in the audience, or maybe also online, were there. We're hoping to make these programs together with you, with all kinds of different branches and well, I'm not allowed really to say different aspects. It's all integrated, of course, but we're really looking for innovative projects and new solutions, and we really try to invite you and be part of that. So I'm afraid I am also the person that you can contact about this. And I'm really looking forward to, because it's also a great learning for me, but I think it's very important for both our countries to be connected in this way, because I think that is, like we all know, it's so important that China is on board if we want to make that transition. It's the factory of the world, like Pieter van Os said. Well, that's a little bit about next year, Business of Design Week. For this year, I was also challenged to have a program in Shanghai. I want to tell you a little bit about how we proceed with projects in China if you cannot travel to China, although it's still a priority country. So every month I have contacts with all the consulates and embassy in China to see what is really going on. We have lots of partners already in China, like platforms that are working on design, or with industries that are working on innovation. And together with the people in Shanghai, we decided to be part of a fair that's called the International City and Architecture Fair. And that is already going on since 2014. And the Netherlands was always part of that fair. It was an important fair that is trying to put, and it's also organized together with the United Nations. So it is an international fair. And for this year we were thinking of making a film, and I'm really proud to announce today the premiere of the film, because we will take part with a film in that fair. That film will also actually be shown in very many places in China, as already demand from the in Beijing, a big event, and also in Guangzhou. And today is the first time I'm going to show it. It's a film that is made together with the city of Rotterdam, because Rotterdam and Shanghai are sister cities, and they share the harbor, and they have a lot of common projects, and a lot of architects that are working in China are also based in Rotterdam. So we have chosen quite carefully architects that are working in China, and also in the Netherlands, but also looking at it from the innovative perspective, of course, because that is really what we try to show China that the Netherlands is working on those issues. So I will show you the video. It's 12 minutes, and I hope you like it.
Als architect leven we in een enorm interessante tijd.
We hebben enorm veel uitdagingen.
The one thing that we're not short of is global challenges these days.
We lopen aan tegen de eindigheid van het systeem wat we hebben gebouwd met elkaar.
Op dit moment is er bijna geen trend meer, maar is het een soort urgentie dat we echt moeten gaan naar een duurzame, circulaire samenleving.
Steeds meer mensen gaan in de stad wonen, willen in de stad wonen, steden groeien.
Hoe kunnen we nog in deze densiteit ook nog efficiënte, maar ook leefbare steden creëren?
Wat doen we met de oude stad? Wat doen we met oude gebouwen? En hoe kunnen we daar een nieuw leven aan geven?
Hoe kunnen wij omgaan met wat we al hebben, zonder nog meer te gebruiken of verbruiken?
Er speelt zoveel tegelijkertijd. Hittestress in de steden tot met overstromingen.
Als de zeespiegel sowieso stijgt, hoe gaan we daarmee om? Moeten wij niet zeggen, wij omarmen het water eigenlijk veel meer?
These challenges go beyond any kind of challenges we've ever faced as a species. They're actually talking about the survival of the planet as we know it.
Als je Nederland van boven bekijkt, dan is het eigenlijk één groot delta. Het delta van de Rijn. De dreiging van het water is er, dat kun je ook niet wegnemen.
Dus we hebben altijd het gevaar van de zee en de zeestijging, die hebben we om ons heen. En daar hebben we altijd oplossingen voor moeten verzinnen.
Daar hebben we altijd innovatief over moeten nadenken, ons moeten aanpassen aan onze omgeving.
Als Nederland hebben we natuurlijk de deltawerken na de watersnoodramp.
Een sterk stelsel van dijken wat door de eeuwen heen is geëngineerd.
Much of the land was created where there was no land before.
Zonder de waterhuishouding zou je eigenlijk in Nederland niet kunnen leven, tenminste niet op heel veel plekken.
Dat is denk ik wat ons ook kenmerkt, door dat water niet te zien als bedreiging, maar als een kans om een mooie en betere leefbare stad te maken.
Maar tegelijkertijd heb je naast het vele water ook heel veel mensen. Het is een van de dichtstbevolkte plekken op aarde.
Ongeveer elke vierkante meter is bestemd. Je hebt de natuur, je hebt heel veel landbouwareaal, we hebben de rivieren, steden.
Het is bijna een soort, echt een soort tekentafelontwerp waar je naar kijkt. Alles heeft zijn plek en dat maakt het tot een soort kunstmatige schoonheid, zou je kunnen zeggen.
We hebben gewoon niet oneindig veel ruimte, dus wij zijn gedwongen al jarenlang, decennia lang, om zuinig met onze ruimte om te gaan. Dus zijn wij gewoon getraind in het creatief nadenken over hoe we die ruimte gebruiken.
Waar we voortdurend eigenlijk kansen zien om dingen anders te doen, om dingen slimmer te doen.
In a lot of ways, the Netherlands reminds me a lot of China, mostly in the sense that there is an incredible sort of openness here to new ideas and to trying things out.
Dat is ook wat echt in de DNA van het land zit, die over honderden jaren ontstaan is en die daar nog steeds aanwezig is.
In 2017 zijn we gevraagd door een ontwikkelaar om een woningbouwproject te ontwikkelen voor hem, een groot masterplan. Er waren 15 oude fabrieken en volgens de ontwikkelaar moesten die fabrieken weg en er moest gewoon woningbouw komen. Maar die fabrieken, toen wij die bezochten, zagen we enorme meerwaarde in prachtige oude gebouwen. Dus we hebben voorgesteld een aantal fabrieken te behouden, transformeren tot cultuurcentrum, bibliotheek, zwembad, om daarmee meerwaarde te creëren voor de omliggende woningbouw. Dus op een gegeven moment, die woningbouw kreeg meerwaarde, die werd meer waard voor de opdrachtgever, omdat de mensen die daar gingen wonen ook culturele faciliteiten om zich heen hebben, publieke ruimte. En dat geeft een enorme meerwaarde die de opdrachtgever nog niet gezien had.
We hebben een campus ontworpen in Nanchang voor Wangke, een van de Chinese grootste ontwikkelaars. Het zijn 6 gebouwen, waarbij we ook een museum en conferentiecentrum hebben ontworpen. We hebben eigenlijk die gevel ontwikkeld op basis van een script waarbij we hebben gezegd we willen efficiënt materiaalgebruik, zo min mogelijk snijverlies en een efficiënte verdeling van de gevel en de computer eigenlijk het werk laten doen. En op basis daarvan hebben we dus eigenlijk een hele duurzaam ook circulaire gevel ontworpen, want die kan ook gewoon weer helemaal gedemonteerd worden en op een andere manier weer worden hergebruikt.
Dit project Dingxi is eigenlijk een klassiek productiedorp buiten Shanghai. Dit dorp is in de loop van de tijd, doordat mensen van dat dorp naar met name Shanghai verhuisden, leeggelopen. En nu ontstond de vraag, wat is de toekomst van zo'n dorp? We hebben in dit project ook eigenlijk alles hergebruikt wat er is aan gebouwen. Dus dat CO2 dat we een keer uitgestoten hebben, dat hoeven wij niet nog een keer gewoon de lucht in te blazen.
In de Rijnhavenontwikkeling gaan wij het water ook benutten door er drijvende parken aan toe te voegen. En wordt het water daarmee recreatieve ruimte voor alle Rotterdammers en bezoekers van de stad. Het is een grote ontwikkeling, 3 blokken, een 350.000 vierkante meter programma met een nieuw stadspark. En dat is eigenlijk een hele langdurige transformatie van havengebied naar stedelijk gebied.
We hebben in Shenzhen gewerkt aan een 600 hectare groot bos- en sportpark. De vraag van het project was om een groot gebied, wat al groen is, te verbinden met de stad. Er komt heel veel samen in het park. Dus aan de ene kant hebben we nagedacht over innovatieve natuurontwikkeling. Aan de andere kant ook over innovatie in sport. We wilden hier een plek maken waar ook niet alleen plaats is voor de sporten die we kennen, zoals voetbal, tennis en basketbal. Maar ook de opening wordt geboden voor nieuwe sporten. Het eerste deel wat is uitgevoerd was eigenlijk de grote verbinder. Het pad wat de stad met de natuur verbindt. Fantastisch om te zien wat voor aantrekkingskracht die had. En dat heeft ook een groot effect gehad op de populariteit van Guangming, het gebied waar dit park in ligt.
Wat we bedacht hebben is dus die brug te zien niet zozeer als een snelle verbinding van A naar B, maar ook als een bestemming. En toen we daarmee verder schetsten, dat probeerden te ontwikkelen, ontstond bij onze Chinese collega's het idee dat het een Chinese geluksknoop was. Wat in Chinees denken heel veel positieve associaties heeft. En door die brug als bestemming te ontwerpen, wordt het ook een plek waar mensen ontmoeten, wordt het een plek waar mensen op een andere manier het landschap kunnen zien, wordt er zelfs getrouwd. En daarmee is die brug echt onderdeel geworden van het stedelijk landschap en zelfs verbonden aan de stad nu. Deze brug die kan helemaal, mocht het nodig zijn, uit elkaar gehaald worden en die kan ergens anders weer in elkaar gezet worden. Hij is zo modulair ontworpen dat hij zelfs in stukken gewoon een andere vorm zou kunnen krijgen. Dus er is een hele grote restwaarde waar we mee ontworpen hebben. We hopen natuurlijk dat het niet nodig is, maar het is wel in het ontwerpproces al meegenomen dat er een nieuw leven gegeven zou kunnen worden aan wat we daar gebouwd hebben.
De vraag van de opdrachtgever is eigenlijk gewoon, ja, maak 2 woontorens op deze locatie. Dan is het eigenlijk een hele platte vraag. En ik denk dat we als bureau zijnde er heel kritisch naar gekeken hebben. Wat kunnen we nou doen om zeg maar, die urban jungle eigenlijk een fysieke jungle te maken? Waarin je toch een soort van natuurlijk beeld krijgt in de stad. Waarin je daadwerkelijk gewoon zeg maar, ook je eigen identiteit kwijt kan.
Wat erg karakteristiek is aan de Nederlandse manier van werken is dat we aan de ene kant op een procesmatige manier bezig zijn. Dat combineren met conceptueel denken. En die combinatie, processen met conceptueel denken, dat we daarmee tot innovatie kunnen komen. Dat we samen met die opdrachtgever optrekken en ze helpen bij het ontwikkelen van hun visie.
Wat vraagt de opdrachtgever en wat zien wij voor kansen die de opdrachtgever nog niet gezien heeft? Dus we werken echt vanuit strategieën.
En als je een gebouw maakt, gaat het niet alleen over het gebouw, maar het gaat over de openbare ruimte daaromheen, het gaat over de biodiversiteit.
Ik denk dat onze projecten proberen mensen te verbinden, maar het probeert ook de plek met de stad te verbinden. probeert de geschiedenis met de toekomst te verbinden.
They really see it from a multiplicity of perspectives. You know, it's not just the sort of technical, it's not just the social, it's not just the ecological, but it's also the cultural.
Dat vind ik het mooie ook met architecten en stedenbouwkundigen. Die vlechten dat in elkaar. En daar kunnen echt hele mooie projecten uitkomen.
And what we need these days is to really be thinking outside of how we're used to thinking.
Maar dat vergt natuurlijk niet alleen van hen wat. Dat vergt ook van de overheid lef om toe te staan dat er out of the box wordt gedacht.
Rotterdam en Shanghai zijn zustersteden, natuurlijk hele vergelijkbare steden, een grote haven. Dus in die zin kunnen we veel van elkaar leren.
China is elke dag anders en er is een bepaald soort informaliteit die kansen biedt aan architecten. Daarom ben ik eigenlijk in China vanwege die energie, die samenwerking, die nieuwe ideeën, nieuwe innovatie in de projecten die mogelijk is.
Ik denk dat in de toekomst in China dat het niet zozeer het vergroten wordt van al die steden, maar dat op een ander schaalniveau binnen die steden gekeken gaat worden van hoe kunnen we dit gebied binnen die stad gaan ontwikkelen. En dan zitten we eigenlijk precies op het schaalniveau waar Nederlandse architecten en stedenbouwkundigen heel veel ervaring hebben opgedaan de laatste honderden jaren.
We moeten eigenlijk alle systemen in de bouw opnieuw verzinnen. Het gaat over bouwprocessen, het gaat over materialen.
We hoeven niet per definitie alles af te breken en weer nieuw op te bouwen.
Wat is er om ons heen waar we gebruik van kunnen maken? In plaats van wat is heel ver weg waar we gebruik van willen maken.
We kunnen dingen heel anders inrichten.
The way we do things now is really not the way things have been done for most of human history. We can begin to explore other possibilities and other alternatives.
Die systeemverandering eigenlijk van de economie is zo kolossaal dat je dat eigenlijk niet anders kan dan eigenlijk met elkaar samen te werken.
Nothing is impossible, and in the case of the Netherlands, that's deeply ingrained because for most other people, the existence of this country would have been impossible.
Maar het begint wel met die creatieve denkkracht van die architecten en stedenbouwkundigen.
Ja. De film is gemaakt door Anne Roenia en hij is hier helaas vandaag niet, ook ziek. Maar hij heeft fantastisch werk, vind ik, gedaan. En hij komt natuurlijk ook in het Chinees. Dit is een Engelse versie en de Chinese versie die komt natuurlijk in China in première. Ja, dat was eigenlijk zeg maar, wat ik wilde laten zien voor Shanghai. Wij hadden ook, er komt nog waarschijnlijk een event in Shanghai met alle makers van de film om te kijken hoe kunnen we dat nou verder brengen. Hè? Want het idee is dat deze film wordt gezien door... Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was so excited to tell you that Anne Roenia made this film. And I'm so sorry that he's not here, but I'm quite... happy that he made it, and there will be also a Chinese version, but that will be shown in China, of course, as a premiere. The idea is that we will have a hybrid event in Shanghai with all the makers, because this film is made for decision makers in China to see what is so special about architects and city planners from the Netherlands. Maybe there's still some time for some questions. I don't know, I have talked a bit about Hong Kong, a little bit about Shanghai, about the film. There is not so much time left, so I thought maybe I'll just pick it up a little bit and ask you if everything was clear, or that I maybe have to elaborate about some other issues that we are working on in China. But this is most of the events now for Shanghai and Hong Kong. There are also some little things that we are working on, like the Guangzhou Design Week, but that's all derivatives from what we have shown you here. So is there any question at this moment? No? Well, then let's then go to then I think I can conclude that it is, well, we have seen the video, and I hope you liked it. I hope it was clear that it's really made for to show the innovative ways of making new buildings and and public spaces in the Netherlands and China. We have seen Joe Wong talking to us, inviting everybody to come to Hong Kong. And we did that after a very nice panel, I think, on circular design, together with Michiel Hulshoff and Pieter van Os, Mariet Scheurs and Marijke Reuver. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for coming. And I think there is one thing I still have to ask you to give also a review. Is that true? There is also a QR code coming, I believe, that we would like to hear your opinion about the program, because we can only learn from that for maybe next year if we're going to do another program on what's going on in our priority countries. And for now, I thank you very much for coming here and hope to see you again soon, and hope to bring you to China as well. Thank you so much.